person says, what if he can transform to Majin Vegeta since he will be in the demon realm?
Why would we go that far?
So when it comes to could a Majin Vegeta happen, I think it could happen against his own will. That's the only way that would happen. Somebody would have to do something to him. That would be a nice surprise because all it takes is someone with some magic to them and that was familiar with Babadi's shit and been like, oh, this one we saw in the tapes.
I feel like the only way that would even work is if he had the evil within him still.
Yo, but what if it was just injected? That's what I'm trying to say. If they want to make it happen for the nostalgia, they could. Because again, let me remind folks, Iyoku-san, he literally said, anything you could imagine that you would want to see in Daima will happen. Maybe there's a pocket of fans that want to see Majin Vegeta just for the one time. I'm not one of those people, but if it does happen, oh, I'm screaming.
Oh, that's that good.
Yo. It's your boys. Brother Ooch. It's me. And we are the Full Power Podcast. Let's go. Clap it up, clap it up. Yeah. Hey. Back again once again. Okay. Let's go, guys. We're back for another edition. Episode 171 of the Full Power Podcast. Yes, give yourselves a round of applause. We've made it past the 170 mark. Okay? Lots to be proud of, lots to look forward to because we're creeping up on that 200. So, and in case, speaking of creeping up, if you didn't realize that the episode number is jumping, well, that's because the even numbers are on Mondays. And if you want to get the full episodes, obviously, well, I shouldn't say obvious because maybe some of y'all don't know, go on over to the Patreon page. It's the best $5 a month you can invest in. I don't even know what the math is a week, but like, that is like...
What, $5 a month?
$5 a month. How much is that a week? 5 divided by 7.
Divided by what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like by the cents a day, if that.
Well, $5 a month. I mean, just do 5 times 12. 75 a year.
So there you go. Like that. If you want to look at it, if you want to break it down like that, then that is the best investment you could get to see your favorite podcast, the most OD podcast, especially when it comes to anime and all that kind of stuff.
That's 60. What the fuck am I talking about? That's 60.
We're mathing is not mathing, but you guys definitely can make that shit happen as always. But yeah, so that's your quick Patreon plug because you guys get the preview videos. I do drop the preview videos so you can get a little taste of what you could be in for as far as the discussion. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that stuff, definitely go on, head over to our Patreon page. That is patreon.com/Full Power Podcast. Again, the starting entry point, $5 a month, you get a Discord, you get extra videos, and you get exclusive bonus behind-the-scenes content that we don't put anywhere else, and you get priority responses on the questions of the day, which we'll be getting into. So what are we talking about today? Well, let me start by giving you guys a little bit of a Kai update, okay? So our boy Kai, all right, resident original member of the Full Power Podcast. For those that have been sticking out with us since the beginning or around the beginning, or if you've just been around long enough to where you remember and recognize Kai, actually, let me put it back on this screen. Kai is actually the fella right below, next to me in the graphic right down there in our logo. Haven't removed him or IQ because they are always members. So that's, but life has obviously altered some things and made it a little bit more difficult to get him on the podcast. But a little quick update for you guys before we get into the discussion of the question of the day and some other interesting Dragon Ball Daima related types of conversation here, is that he called me while I was working and we had a hours and hour long session of a catch up. Basically right now he's in the middle of a move. So he's moving to another apartment. And he did get his hands on Sparking a Zero. Okay, So he wanted to formally announce this to me because obviously he was gonna know I'm gonna bring it up on the podcast, right? And he wanted to let me know because there was like an unfortunate scare, if you will. Like he wasn't gonna be able to get it or play it, which would have been crazy because like that's a game that he has been looking forward to, much like a lot of other people, for a very long time, even before we knew Sparking Zero was going to come out. So he told me this whole story of how he was even able to get it on PlayStation because guess what? He didn't have a PS5 before, and now he does.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir. So it's a very interesting story. I feel like I don't even want to tell you guys fully because I want him to tell the story when he's back on. So I am now here to formally announce that Kai, hopefully sooner than later, will be returning back to the show. All right. So aside from that, we had a very nice conversation about Sparking Zero, his thoughts on it, how he feels. It's a very interesting conversation. We went back and forth, and we're just like I was picking his brain about it, and obviously I told him. And even though he's played it obviously a little more than we have, he's in a similar boat where it's just like so many things in life that's preventing him from just playing. You know, like when he does play, he gets to play maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes at a time, which unfortunately as adults, it's like that's like all the time we can get, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's the Kai update. He looks forward to coming back on. And it's not like I will also I'll answer this in case anyone might wonder if this. If Kai comes back, does any of the other newer members get replaced? There is no replacing, okay? There's no replacing. There's only adding, all right? I have built this podcast to the point where I have brought on folks that add a new layer to the show. And it's nice because when it's not just us, it's like a little bit of a mix and match. Like again, if you guys are missing out on these Patreon episodes, you're missing out on Housetop. Housetop gives his own insight, his own view, his own outlook on things, and his opinions can be different. And we need that, you know what I'm saying? Even though we differ, sometimes it's good to have more of a difference, you know what I'm saying? And then of course, alongside Housetop is our boy JD. JD coming in from the Power Rangers Academia side of things, also an anime fan, naturally. He's working on his own Sparking Zero content that he's been keeping me in the loop with. And then also, let me not forget about incredibly that Joey and myself, if you're into Marvel, that's what we do over there. But, you know, I figure like having all them, like imagine one day we will have everybody at once where it's like House and JD and Kai and Jared. Oh, God, that'd be great. Right? That'd be sick. That'd be one hell of a fucking Chi-Chi's scholarship episode.
Every while.
All right. So aside from that, I know you had a test. So how'd that go? How are you doing today? Of course.
I'm all right. Test was like, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was one of those where it was just like, do your best type of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
This is the hardest class. Well, yeah, this is probably macro and microeconomics intermediate are both killers. Like, unless you major in that shit, bro, like,
nah.
Especially if the professors are kind of tough, like, you know, it's not fun. It's not fun, let me tell you that.
Yeah. I don't miss any of those classes at all. Not gonna lie. I barely survived microeconomics when I had it as a freshman in college.
Right now, I mean, beginner is not terrible. Intermediate is where they try to fuck you up, and it's just like, damn, you really gotta apply yourself a little bit. Of this shit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that makes sense. Well, anyways, you took the test, so and you told me off camera that it was something that your whole class was kind of unanimous in feeling like, yeah, I don't know if this was it type shit.
I mean, that was exactly the same feeling on the first test. You know, he had to curve the first test. So, I mean, from the people I talked to, you know, there's probably going to be another curve.
Hey, man, listen, we take those.
It's probably gonna be.
Listen,
I'm not complaining.
No, hell no.
I need that.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just trying to pass this.
Exactly. We gotta pass. Gotta pass. Well, all right. Well, keep us updated on that. I already told you the Kai update, so I guess we could get into something else. I was given a bit of, I guess you could say, insight. Okay, and I've been having a lot of conversations with my boy Chris. So shout outs to Chris. You know who you are. Okay. Now, Chris has been, and I've actually mentioned and referenced Chris in the past on here. He is what I would like to consider the Dragon Ball hero, okay? Okay? Because Chris is one of the Dragon Ball fans that I'm sure the many out there exist, and this is not a knock, okay? So don't think I'm making fun of y'all. But he is among the fans that really love Dragon Ball heroes and subsequently Super Dragon Ball heroes. And obviously, as you guys may know, we're not the biggest fans, only because it's obviously non-canon. It doesn't have any official placing in the timeline of the main continuity of the story of Dragon Ball, right? Yeah. So that's why we don't put any energy or any kind of concern towards it. I mean, we have mentioned it. We have had episodes way back in the past. If you guys look through the catalog here on this official FPP channel, or if you go on back to my channel where the podcast was born, the season, I think it was like the first 2 seasons or at least are on in a playlist on my channel, so you can go watch those episodes back as well, or listen to them if you're on Spotify. And so we used to reference certain things that would happen, but not everything. You know, it wasn't like one of those, we didn't review it like we reviewed Super or now Daima in this case, right? Okay. So he has, because he's my boy, I'm obviously gonna hear him out, and he's not like crazy about it. He's not like other types of fans where they're just like, they're up your ass about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I know, but because of this and then no. Like, you know, fortunately he's not like that. But a few things that I will give him some sort of credit that, you know, I'm not going to go crazy, and because I don't have enough time as it is. You don't have enough time as it is. You don't have enough care to do what I'm about to say, which is to go and watch all the Super Dragon Ball episodes, you know, just to see what Toriyama could have borrowed from this. And the one big one is the whole Towa and Mira comparison when it comes down to looking at Dr. Arinsu and Glorio, which if you put those two characters side by side, they straight up look like they could be related or something. Or they could be characters that end up becoming them in some weird, you know, fan theories or whatnot. I don't believe any of that stuff. But what I do believe is that when it comes to referencing, Toriyama has shown us time and time again that he's obviously no stranger to referencing his own shit. I mean, you know, this guy has been a successful creator even before Dragon Ball. Dr. Slump made him a fucking millionaire. At one point in the 80s, this guy was one of the richest people in Japan before Dragon Ball, okay? Just to give you guys some perspective, because that shit is facts, all right? And of course, aside from Dragon Ball, he's worked on plenty other things. So I say all this as a preface to lead into me saying, I take anything that anyone wants to call back to with a grain of salt. Now, I also did mention on a previous episode recently, so make sure you guys are keeping up to date with these videos, is that Chris pointed out a moment that happened in one of the Dragon Ball Heroes fights between Cumber and Fu. And so Fu had some sort of device, or he had an attack that essentially took away the energy of the moon, thus weakening Cumber because he was in his great Ozaru state, and then he was able to defeat him. So he brought that up as something to look at because, you know, obviously we're dealing with magic and Daima, and how cool would it be if we do get to see another great ape transformation? It's been several years. Obviously, we didn't get one in Super. Obviously, we haven't seen one in Z since, what, like the early days of Dragon Ball. And then if you want to count GT, that was the real last time we seen a great Ozaru transformation. So, actually, well, let me not forget about the manga. They happened in the manga when they were doing callbacks, whatever. So he brings that up, and I was like, okay, that's actually something that you could keep in the back of your mind when it comes down to any sort of mechanism or magic or divisive whatever, what have you, that Daima can introduce when that time comes. Okay? But for now, again, very, very small pinches of salt. Now, aside from Super Dragon Ball Heroes, the other thing that he brought up to my attention was Sandland. Okay, I don't know if y'all watching are familiar with Sandland. Okay, but Sandland is another Akira Toriyama created show. Very short. It's like I looked it up. It's like 14 chapters manga, and then last year in 2023 they made a movie that basically I think covers half of it. And then this year, they actually released a 13 episodic television show. It's on Hulu. I checked, right? So for those interested, you could go watch it. Obviously, plug, non-plug. This is not a fucking sponsor, okay? Although Crunchyroll, feel free to hit us up at any point in time, right? And or Hulu, whatever. But anyways, so he said you should check out Sandland because I think there might be some sort of connection between the demon realm that we're in Daima and Sandland. Now, he showed me one picture, okay? And this picture, I'm not going to lie, it popped me. Because I was like, oh, right? Not going to lie. I was actually very surprised that I never saw this previously. And now, and after watching the movie, I think I understand why no one's really talked about it, because I think they are two separate entities. Now, also, I should also note, this wouldn't be the first time other Toriyama works crossed over into Dragon Ball. If you remember Arale from Dr. Slump, she's crossed over with Dragon Ball several times. She came in Super in a filler, and she was also, I think, in a filler episode in Dragon Ball, maybe Z, I don't know, back in the day.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, if you saw her, you'd be like, oh, whatever. But again, it's a filler, so I understand if you had to wipe that out of your memory banks. You know?
Yeah, I don't do all that.
Right. So with Sandland, okay, Sandland it takes place in a world where humans and demons share the same space. Although demons are basically like they're what's the word? They're like well, okay, humans are basically racist against demons. That's the easiest way I could put it. They're like,
Okay.
yeah. So the demons, they kind of live in their own section. Humans live in their own section. Humans look at demons as if they're, all demonic and bad. But this is, I think, another example of Toriyama trying to show that, just because you're a demon doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean you're bad at all. And throughout the story of Sandland actually shows us that demons don't kill, humans do, which is kind of OD when you put it like that. Because I'm like, damn, that's that's facts, and they continue to make that point apparent. And so basically, the whole story, it's like a very easy to watch story or movie. If you're watching the movie, I'm referencing the movie. And so in the movie, the whole point is essentially they're trying to find a water supply so that they as in the entire Sandland, can not have to go starving or thirsty for water, because water is valued at like 20,000 zenny a fucking bottle, right? And obviously that inflation is due to the rich motherfuckers that are just trying to stay rich and keep all the water reserves secret into themselves. Now, like I said, the plot of the movie is that the main characters, it's like two demons and a human. Shiva is the human. Later learn that he was like a former military guy. And then Beelzebub, I want to call him Beelzebub, but it's Beelzebub, all right? And Thief. So those are the three characters. Now, when you see the pink guy, you're going to automatically assume like that's the main character. Realistically, it's him and Shiva. Those are the real main guys, okay? And so basically, they're all on this little adventure, very similar to Daima, where they're trying to find the truth, and they're trying to find it, trying to see where they can locate this water reserve. So I'll skip. I won't tell you. I won't spoil the whole thing. But what I will say is that if you go into watching Sandland, if you've never seen it, expecting Dragon Ball action, you're not gonna be happy. Okay, because at best, all right, and I think that they did. Toriyama did this on purpose, not to be lazy or anything like that, but he wanted to emphasize that demons are clearly stronger than humans in certain ways, and Beelzebub or Beelzebub, or we'll call them Bells. That's what they call them for short. Bells is the son of the Demon King. Okay? And he called himself like the prince of the fiends, or the prince of demons, essentially. And so he was like, he had that like very heroic youngster kind of energy, but in reality, he was like 200 something years old or 1200 years old, some shit like that. And so whenever they had a fight, when there was a gang, an army, or whatever, the most he would do is smack them.
That's whack.
Yeah. And so I'm watching this, and I'm just like, you would not like this movie. You would think this was so boring, right? And like he would be mad fast. There was a lot of running scenes. There was moments where he'd be flipping around, but then when he would attack someone, at most, smack him, knock him out. Smack him, knock him out. One after another. Then there's another point where it looks like he's gonna like power up and do all that kind of stuff. But even then, at that point, it goes from smacks to punches. Okay. So the action, like I said, is very minute in comparison to Dragon Ball. If anyone's like hearing this little review of Sandland and expecting it to be anything like Dragon Ball is probably, I would say, because Toriyama's done a lot of other stuff. I would think that Dragon Ball is his most action-packed out of all the works that he's done. I can assume that. But Toriyama's known for a lot of other things. Like, he's done a lot of other things, whether they're short or not. But, like, Slump was over 200 chapters, over 200 episodes. I think Dragon Ball obviously takes the cake as a whole, as his longest one. Obviously, since it's ongoing technically right now. But yeah, Sandland, like I said, very easy to digest, very easy to follow. It's a cool little story in what happens and, the little takeaways that come from it. But anyways, I say all this, again, to lay down where we're at, okay? So to draw the line, all right? And here's the line. The line is simply that in the demon realm in Dragon Ball Daima, all they have is demons, okay? As far as we know right now, everybody has pointy ears, which in Sandland, they also had pointy ears. So there's that connection. And then in Daima, as far as we know, as at least in the third world, there are no humans. World 2 and 1, who knows? Imagine if there were humans. That could then, I can see people drawing some, hey, well, look, Sandland had, okay, until we get there, sure, you can hold that for now. Here's the big one, right, that I've been saving. Do you want to know who Bell's father, the actual Demon King, looks like?
What, the current Demon King?
In Sandland. The kid's father. Do you want to take a guess?
I forget the main character already. That's the demon.
It wasn't it? Well, okay, so
like the Demon King right now.
No. Okay, no, it's not Goma.
Yeah, Goma.
No, it's not Goma. Okay, it's Deborah.
Deborah.
So Chris showed me a picture of this dude, and in Sandland, his name is straight up Lucifer. I'm like, whoa, right? And when here, I'll pull it up for you right now, so I could show you what I was shown, and so that you can understand where my intrigue came from. Look at this. Look at that.
That's him?
That's the king of the demon, like the king of the demons in Sandland. That motherfucker looks exactly like Deborah.
That's a copy and paste, low
Yo, exactly, right? And so, of course, maybe someone's now hearing us talk about this, and you might be wondering, okay, when was Sandland made? Sandland came after Dragon Ball Z. So, another question. It's like, is that Deborah? The answer is no. He said his name is Lucifer. But literally, it looks exactly like him. And of course, as we know, Deborah was the former king of the demon realm in Dragon Ball Z. So one could make the comparison and draw something towards that and be like, oh yeah, like they could connect Sandland and Dragon Ball Daima because of the demon realm, or just in general if they ever wanted to. I personally don't think they would. However, you could also argue that because Sandland recently had some sort of an upsurge or like some interest, because out of nowhere they just decided to make a Sandland movie, make a Sandland game, and a Sandland TV show, like an adaptation of the movie of the manga and stuff. So I'm just like, that's actually kind of crazy that they out of nowhere, like I don't know anyone personally that ever asked for Sandland specifically to be adapted in all these ways. Like it literally got a manga, it literally got a movie, a show, and a game on PS5.
Wow.
So you could argue, oh, well, because it recently got all this push, what if it is one of those things that they end up crossing over with because of all this demon realm, demon world kind of things? And to be fair, I don't see anybody talking about it or making any kind of reference to it. So I kind of leave it up to y'all. What do you think after hearing all this stuff? Do you guys think that maybe this could be something that they work towards, or it could be some sort of Easter egg that comes into play later on if we do see like Thief and Bells later on in an episode of Daima, kind of similar to how Arale has been featured in previous Dragon Ball episodes in the past? I mean, so like, what do you make of all that? Like, how did like?
I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I don't personally go diving into other animes that the same creator made just to like say, oh, they're gonna interpret something else like within this other anime and put it in type of thing. Yeah, nah. Especially when it comes to Dragon Ball, I'm not. People do that shit?
Well, not always, but it's like, so I think it's kind of interesting and exciting when you have like any creator, right? So when it comes to manga and anime, I should say, well, I guess we'll root it just to manga because anime are adaptations from manga. So when you have a manga or a mangaka, and they're known for making one story, and then they go off and they make another story. It's very cool to find out through the creator or through little crumbs or hints or teases that newer story relates back to the old one. Just because in the manga space, that doesn't really happen. Because in comic books, in American comics, that happens all the time. Look at Marvel, look at DC. Yeah. It's like all those characters are created under the brand's umbrella, and then at some point, one way or another, most of them interchange, or they have interactions with each other.
Yeah.
So that's what's cool about, American comics. But in manga, that really doesn't happen. It's very rare. And honestly, like because of Sandland, I kind of fell into like a small rabbit hole because I wanted to see first I wanted to see like, okay, like how long is this in the manga? 14 chapters, not long at all. You could literally read it in a day. And then through that, I also saw like, oh, like what other works has Toriyama done? And I saw like a list of all these other things. I was like, some looked familiar, some I never heard of. And then that connected to other things that, of course, he was credited for because, again, he's a part of it. Did you know that they made a Jump Superstars manga to hype the fucking game? Yeah. And here I thought that none of that shit ever existed. And it did. So there is technically something out there where Naruto, Dragon Ball, and a couple others, they did have a crossover one shot, which is really cool. I wish we had more of that. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, they don't do that type of thing anymore, or they just don't do it at all. So I don't know. Like, I think it's cool if there are any sort of connections. But again, I can understand why people wouldn't really care because it's like unless it adds something like unique and special and whatever, then yeah, I get it. If it doesn't, then whatever.
Right.
So and of course, and unfortunately, like this is probably gonna downplay Sandland a lot, but like to be honest, I know for a fact that unless you're someone like myself who can appreciate other things that Toriyama did, because he's known for a lot of shit, like Chrono Trigger, art, Dragon Quest, characters, art, all that stuff. Like, that's all him. So if you're like a fan of his work, then I'm sure you'll find some enjoyment in it, but don't expect it to be anything like Dragon Ball. And like I said, a reminder, the action is subpar at best. It's more for the story. And if you like a good, decent story, then, then check it out. If not, you at least have been warned. So, and again, and also I'll add to wrap this Sandland part up. Sandland would not really add anything unless, like, it wouldn't add anything to the Dragon Ball spectrum unless Sandland upped their ante. And, like, Bells decided that he was actually going to go serious and actually, like, fucking really go fight. And or they made the connection between Deborah actually being the father of Bells and tying that knot that, like, oh, yeah, like, Lucifer was his name that he told to people, but his real name was Deborah. Then it's just like, okay, that's really cool because now you've connected two of Toriyama's works and they can just kind of be, I don't know, migrated into Dragon Ball if they wanted to. So, yeah. But, it is what it is. So I figured I'd let you guys know that I saw Sandland. That was my little review on it. That's how I guess, debunked whether or not they'll have any sort of influence into Daima. But again, I can understand why the comparisons or the connections could possibly be made just because of the lay of the land, the theme, and obviously the whole demon aspect of it. But, there's enough difference to disconnect them. So, all right. So it is now that time for your question of the day. All right. And now, your question was, or is, what episode do you think Vegeta will make his Demon Realm debut in? Okay?
I thought we were talking about that shit.
We did talk about it, but I wanted to give the opportunity to the folks at home
Okay.
a chance to give their insight, and we will kind of go off of what they say, and then, because obviously at the time of this release, happy Daima Day, of course. I will shout out to Daima. Episode 7 will be out by this point, so obviously if you're watching this before or after, just keep in mind this was recorded prior, and feel free to drop your comments on your thoughts on episode 7 of Daima if you so choose. But yeah, let's get into some of these responses. So again, of course, another reminder for the Patreon. If you want to hear your responses read first and prioritized, definitely hit up the Patreon link below. So Lord Payne, shout out to Lord Payne. Clap it up for our boy Lord Payne. Lord Payne says, better be next episode. LOL, my boy Vegeta needs some screen time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that.
I said 8.
You did say 8, but I'm just agreeing with the last part where Vegeta needs some more screen time.
Honestly, if anything, we will be lucky if it's like literally the end of the episode and he drop and they land in.
Yeah,
like,
so
if that's the case.
Yeah, so let's not forget that they had the previous episode. I want to say episode 5. I think it was episode. No. I think it was still episode 6. No, maybe it was 5. I don't remember. But Hybis, the character that what was it? Pansy's dad the king of the first world or third world, he sent Hybis to go fetch Vegeta, Piccolo, and Kibito.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking in episode 7, we're gonna see Hybis
A little bit, probably.
interact with those characters while Bulma's trying to fix the plane. And so the screen time Vegeta's definitely getting. So that's the guarantee. So episode 7, like the preview didn't really show much. I mean, the previews never show anything right now, which is I guess fine. They are only showed scenes from like the Goku side of the story. But I'm pretty sure at this point, this would be the opportunity for Hybis to get more screen time, Vegeta, Piccolo, for them to get more screen time. And then by like we're saying, by the end of the episode, they'll be on their way again towards the Demon Realm. All right, so thank you for that, Lord Pain. So Worse Than a Demon, again, let's clap it up for Worse Than a Demon. Worse Than Demon says, I think he's going to make his debut on episode 8.
Got me in the kid.
Yeah.
Got me in the kid.
Yeah. So in case anyone missed out on any of the last previous discussions, Brother Uj over here, the Iceman, he made the initial prediction that by episode 8 we will get Vegeta and company stepping foot in the Demon Realm.
Yep.
All right. So it would be crazy if we see them in the Demon Realm, but they're not touching ground.
What, by the end of it?
At any point during episode 8. So
You mean 7? Or are you talking about 8?
yeah, I'm talking about 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, if by episode 8 they don't touch ground, but they're in the Demon Realm, do we count that?
I'm trying to think if we should even count episode 7 in the event it's like a last minute showing.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that would count, bro.
I see that.
Like, you see what I'm saying? Like 1 minute of screen time.
Oh, if like they just pulled up and
Yeah.
like that's like, okay, we're here.
It's the landing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then episode 8 is the formal, oh, they're here.
Yeah. I see.
That would be bullshit. Because I called that shit for a minute.
So my thing is, I still want Vegeta to have, not even just him, but I want his party to have like some sort of heroic appearance and showing. Like, it would be cool if Goku and them were in some sort of a pickle, and even though it's like obviously Goku can handle it, but like I would love for them to save the day in a sense, and to and realistically, all this would do, the purpose of it, I should say, is that Glorio will be shitting his pants even more because he's like, oh my god, Vegeta's this strong too? You know what I'm saying?
He should know that. They should all know that just because they foresaw all of it from the booth shit.
Yeah, not that they foresaw it, but they just saw the tape.
Yeah, they saw the tape.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they think them being diminished into kids,
right?
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if that affects their power, I mean, it does probably to a certain extent. But
yeah,
respectfully.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that there's a slight chance that Glorio was holding back at the end, and he's really making it look like he is devastated by Goku's power. Now, naturally, I think you can do both. I think you can be like overwhelmingly surprised at how strong someone actually is, even when they get minified. But I don't know, man. It's like he had a little bit of a holdbacking, hesitative moment where he was about to really go in, and he was like, "Oh, I need him." You know what I'm saying?
Goku didn't even start his Kamehameha.
He didn't at all.
So that prediction is wild.
Hey, listen,
there's no way nobody thinks Glorio is stronger than Goku.
I'm not saying he's stronger. I'm just saying that Glorio is stronger than he puts out.
I mean,
That's all I've been saying. So, all right. So let me move on to some other responses here. So, okay. So this person says episode 7. Okay.
Episode 7?
Episode 7. All right. This next person says end of next episode.
Okay.
All right. This other person says, what if he can transform to Majin Vegeta since he will be in the demon realm?
Why would we go that far?
I don't. Okay. I don't. I don't think that is even possible.
The only reason he even went Majin was because Babidi
Exactly.
installed that shit in him, and he allowed it to happen
Correct.
because all the hatred inside of him, he let it free, in a sense. That was the purpose of the whole Majin shit. The Majin shit is what? Is just to let all the good out, or like throw it out and let the evil. You see what I'm saying?
It's been so many years since I watched those episodes.
Sure that's the moral of it.
Yeah, I think, give or take, that is I think, if I'm trying to remember correctly,
It had to do something with the evil in his heart.
He wanted to rid himself of all the good, that he acquired over the years, so that way he can try to be the best and the strongest, so that he can defeat Goku. Because in his mind and heart, he always felt second.
He felt like he was a pussy.
He felt he felt less than.
Because he had good in his heart. He didn't think having a family. Because he literally said in the dialogue, I'm pretty positive.
You remember this?
I kind of remember low key because I watched them bricks.
You did
a lot.
You did.
So he was always talking about how he tried copying Goku and like, you know, having the underlying evilness like lower down and shit, and you know, build the family. That's why he met up with Bulma, got Trunks, built a family like Goku did. And it didn't work out in his favor. It didn't work out to the extent of Goku's strength, essentially. And so when Babidi came along and understood that Vegeta had a lot of anger built up, and I mean, the Majin is what it is now.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing about the whole Majin, I guess you could call it a concept, is that when you look back at that whole arc in Dragon Ball Z, and now apply the, I guess, updated knowledge, and it's not really even updated knowledge, it's more of like a fact check to fans. Like, the word Majin is literally describing a type of person, literally meaning demon person. Like Majin, the word jin is used in a lot of other words to describe the type of person. So look at Saiyajin, that's a Saiyan person. Look at Gaijin. Gaijin is foreign person. That's what that means in Japanese. I don't know a whole lot, so don't think I'm fucking out here. But like, just to give you guys some perspective, that is what the Jin part is. So technically, Majin Vegeta should translate to Demon Vegeta, which when you understand it like that, when you try to apply that type of intellect, right? It's almost as if like we are referring to these characters as their demonic versions of themselves. Babidi brought out the pure evil, that demon side, and that's what could cause confusion, because when we look at a character like Majin Buu, that's just like, you would think like that's just the name, right? Majin Buu, but really it's just Buu, because
that boy was a demon anyway.
Yeah.
That boy was a demon anyway.
Yeah. So it's like, when you say Majin Buu, you're really saying like Demon Buu, or something like that. But again, that's just a little something to add there. But to really go in, not to make you feel any type of way. I honestly, I'll give you
You're gonna give him benefit of
the
doubt?
benefit, not the benefit of the doubt, but I will give you something. Okay, if that were to happen, I'm sure everybody would pop off.
I mean, I would kind of shit myself a little bit.
Everybody would.
I don't think Vegeta would stoop to that level again.
It's not.
I feel like that was a one-time thing.
Yes, I don't. That's the thing I'm trying to emphasize.
The character development is too far.
Correct.
Too far gone.
Correct. But again, even though his character has developed and he's had even at this point, Daima taking place after Z. Let's not forget, it was during the Majin Buu fight at the end on, what is it, the Supreme Kai's world, where they were fighting Buu, where he had his moment of acknowledgement. And he literally was like, "You're better than me, Kakarot, and I acknowledge you." Like, straight up. And that was his full circle character, like, arc was completed. And at that point forward, he was just a new dude who continues to try to strive towards being better than Goku, but just not in a malicious way anymore. So take all that. That's still intact, like you were bringing up. So when it comes to could a Majin Vegeta happen? I think it could happen against his own will. That's the only way that would happen. Somebody would have to do something to him, whether that, and that would be a nice surprise, because all it takes is someone with some magic to them and that was familiar with Babidi's shit and been like, "Oh, this one we saw in the tapes, and it looked like he allowed Babidi to perform, and then they just point at him, or they do something."
I feel like the only way that would even work is if he had like the evil within him still, and if it's like the pure evil and shit.
Yo, but what if it was just injected? You know, like they could, dude. It does. That's what I'm trying to say. If they want to make it happen for the fucking nostalgia, they could. Because again, let me remind folks, Iyoku-san, he literally said, anything you could imagine that you would want to see in Daima will happen. And I don't know, maybe there's a pocket of fans that want to see Majin Vegeta just for the fucking one time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one of those people, but if it does happen, oh, I'm screaming. Because I would, that's not on my bingo card until now. You know, like, I'm expecting Super Saiyan 4. Hell, I'm even expecting Super Saiyan 3 before, and a fusion before we get Majin Vegeta. So, we'll see. That's an interesting comment, but there you go. So, I will give you that. All right, so this next person, they said simply, the next one, when it comes down to when Vegeta's coming down. All right. And then this next person, they said, I think probably halfway once Goku and company get close to where Dende is at. Wow, so that's not even giving a precise time frame as far as the episode count, because I think we're not gonna see them getting close to Dende for a while. Yeah, it's gonna be a hot minute.
It's even hard to like gauge actual episode.
Yeah,
like I would have to see a little more to like determine. That would be like mid, definitely like the teens.
I should also point out that Geekdom in his recent videos has been pointing out that Daima is apparently ending in March. So again, like, that's still within the 20-ish ballpark number when it comes to an episode count to keep in mind. So I mean, the pacing is gonna,
I mean, there should be another. We're about to be episode 7.
Episode 7 comes out today. If
there's no like week break or some shit like that, and like starting from now, so episode 7 essentially, if we want to do some math or some shit, like give or take 4 episodes a month.
I'm looking at calendar.
4 or 5 episodes a month. You're looking at 16 to 20 extra episodes on top of episode 7.
Okay, yeah. So all right.
So we're give or take, we should be seeing anywhere between 23 to 27.
All right. So hold that number. So I'm gonna literally do some calendar math right now for you guys. Okay. So let's see. So I have this week is the 22nd. Today is the release, right? So it's episode 7, 29th, episode 8, December 6th. That would be episode 9.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12. That's December 27th, right? So that's episode
12 is 27?
December 27th. That's episode 12. That would be episode 12.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then we have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 on the
Extra.
31st.
That's the extra.
Okay. And then 18, 19, 20, 21 is February 28th. That's the last Friday and the last day of February. Okay. 22, 23, 24, and 25. If we're going to think that Daima lasts all the way through March.
Yeah, so it's in the range.
25 episodes.
23 to 27. So if it's going to end in March, it'll be max 25.
Max 25.
Technically speaking.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's if there's no delays, no bullshit
yeah.
in the middle.
Right. Which could happen.
Right.
So maybe 24.
Maybe a Kobe number.
Right.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Rest in peace. But yeah, no. Yeah, that's a pretty healthy number, to be honest. I think there's been other seasonal anime that's had 24.
I mean, if you think about 24, that's like 2 seasons in today's anime in a sense.
Well,
Because
yeah.
most animes end episode 12 or 13.
Nowadays, right?
So that's like literally like a 2-season type of anime in a sense.
True, but then what I'm pointing out is that there have been series that have had like 24, 25 episodes in one season.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, splitting wise, then yeah.
Yeah, I think, I guess, all of them depend on their budget and whatever the hell they're trying to do with it, but it is what it is. So keep that number in mind. You know what? I can almost bet money, and I'm not a betting man at all, that it's going to be 24 episodes because there's always a golden week. There's always some week in Japan where there's nothing for a week, and so if we did the calendar math, 25 total. If you go all the way to the end of March, -1, that's 24 right there. Boom. All right. So, yeah, I think that's all of the. Oh no! Wait! I think I have one more comment right here. Okay, so right here. So this person says episode 8 or 9.
8 or 9 as well.
Yeah. So originally, I will call back to a moment in previous episodes where I pointed out that I thought that we were not going to see Vegeta until episode 10. Now, given the pacing and how, quickly we were moving things along and whatnot, I have then went to just straight up agree with you because episode 8 seems like a very nice sweet spot for him and Piccolo and Kibito to touch down, step foot in the demon realm, okay?
Yeah, because I mean, any longer would be kind of ridiculous. Like, because he would be gone or out of the scenery for a third of the anime.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, shit.
Yeah.
Sending it.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, that's basically all the responses that we got for the question of the day. Again, as a quick reminder, if you guys are trying to hear your answers and be featured in on these episodes, well, don't be shy. Make sure you're answering wherever you see the question of the day posted. You can find them on our Threads account. You can find them on our Blue Sky account. Because guess what? We're on fucking Blue Sky now. You can find them on the Twitter still. You can find them in the community tab over on our YouTube page. And as always, you will always find them first and have yours read, prioritized on the Patreon page. And, of course, speaking of the Patreon page, it is that time for your Patreon shout-outs. Okay, are you ready? If you want to hear your name shouted out at the end of these, wrapped with all of the energy and everything, hit us up, Full Power Podcast, over on the Patreon page. Let's get it. Deontay Sheridan. Anthony Parker.
Park that bitch.
Lord Payne.
He's nuts.
Worse than that demon. Dante TX.
Suck it.
Jarek Rivera. Mr. Back again once again. Odd Man Out.
Never count him out.
Philly Handball.
Smack that
Soul Awakens.
Wake your ass up.
Super Saiyan Soul.
Super Saiyan.
Travis Boyette. Vegeta Uchiha. And we got one more. Get the fuck up by your seat. Let's go with the... Yes! He's the only one. Land the rising sun. He's our fucking boy. Everybody stand up, get up for him, man. Juice that. Juice. Juice. All right, everybody. Hit him up. All right. And as always, guys, as a reminder, if you're making your decision, if you're on that page, if you're ready to click and you're ready to like, oh man, I really want to hear my name shout out, guess what? Not only will you get that, but you'll get special episodes like this. What's happening, everybody? You already know what it is. It's what you're paying for. The Tier 3, the Super Saiyan 3, the Thriving Ozarus. It's not meant to be an interview, but you already know what it is. We've been hyping it up. This is Kami's Cookout. Putting that extra love in my shit, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know about this, but you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. All right, let's go. Another one for the books. Episode 171 is now down for the count. And yeah, as always, hopefully, as a reminder, Kai will be joining us very soon. Can't wait for that. I'm sure he's gonna have a lot to say and a lot to fill us in on and all that kind of stuff. So, before then, Brother Ooch, do you have anything left for the people at home?
Just keep it clean, stay fresh, stay clean. Get yourself a nice fucking cologne. Can't go a day without cologne.
Yes, that's facts.
You smell fresh, nigga. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. All right, and I will leave you guys with a very special quote. I'm trying to do more of these quotes of the days, or outside of just giving you some words of wisdom or whatever. I'll give you a direct word or series of words of wisdom right here, and it goes a little something like this. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle said that.
A-S-T.
A-R-I-S-T-O-L-E.
Arst.
That's crazy. All right, guys. Well, as always, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you are leaving your comments. Make sure you are sharing with all your friends. And even if you decide not to become a Thriving Ozaru over on the Patreon page, it means a lot when you guys leave your comments, share the video around, and to continue your support right here on YouTube, or if you're listening at home, wherever you're at, on Spotify or any of the podcast platforms that exist out there that host us. And yeah, guys, make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves, as I always say. And yeah, it's been your boy, Ooch, the Lethal Iceman, Brother Ooch. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves. May the power take you lock loaded right here on this channel. Stay safe, stay clean, and stay the hell inside. And we'll see y'all next time.